This show today is very interesting in reference to the flooding, the flash floods that has been happening over the city of Chicago, especially on the west side, and the fact that the mayor, working with other elected officials, state officials, federal officials, county officials, has heard the pleas of the residents of the city of Chicago, especially those on the west side. And he's working with Congressman Danny Davis. He's working with Dick Durbin, Senator Dick Durbin in Duckworth. Okay, he's working with the county board president. He's working with the governor and other legislators, state senate and state reps, as well as the aldermen in the ward aldermen in the affected communities. This show was put together by none other than the chairman of United in Peace, Inc., and that's my wife, Terry Marsh Bradley. So to God be the glory. This is our story. So let's go to work. I'll tell you what. As you know, that we have a new mayor. And sometimes people don't understand that the mayor can't tell God, don't let it rain. And some people in the communities don't understand that there's protocols when you're trying to get assistance from FEMA and everything else. There's different levels of government that have to work together in order to bring those resources. But I'm going to educate you today, and you're going to see that the new mayor, Brandon Johnson, is reaching out because he lives in Austin too. When the flash floods happened, it affected the whole city of Chicago. But it affected the west side more than any part of the city because someone reversed the flow of the Chicago River. And a lot of people saying that affected their basement, and therefore the floods came, the water came into their basement and destroyed their property and everything else, And this was just brought to my attention that FEMA today is going from door to door to get the assessments of people's property so that they can try to, Chicago's about to have a heat wave. And therefore, because of the flood, there's a lot of mildew that's in the individual's house because of the storm. And when there's a heat wave, it affects the mildew. And therefore, it can make one's residence almost inhabitable because of the germs. So hopefully, with the assessments that's coming from the federal government and the state in terms of the FEMA, because it's my understanding that the mayor may have declared some type of state of emergency, that they will go in there and get rid of the drywall or do what has to be done to help clean up the area where the floods were at, and that led up to their property having mildew in it. It says teams of Illinois Emergency Management and the Illinois Homeland Security will be going door to door today to verify and validate flood damage. That's what's happening on the west side of the city of Chicago, especially. So hopefully the residents will know what's happening and we'll go from there.
Field shows may be over, but she left a lasting impression in Chicago with several small businesses. Her Be Good Foundation gave $100,000 to several small Black-owned businesses in the city. And you can bet the 100,000 fans that turned out for her shows also gave the local economy a boost.
Let's zero in on one of those businesses called Bronzeville Soul, which got a surprise diner over the weekend. And we are joined by the co-owners, Angie Price and Mario Coleman. Mario, let's start with you. Tell us, first of all, who stopped by and how it all unfolded.
Well, of course, we all know that Jay-Z made a beautiful appearance for us yesterday. It was very shocking, definitely unexpected. He came in and he asked for the short ribs and pound cake. And it was just a pleasure for me to know that he even wanted to taste our food. I thought what a super thing for us. And, it was incredible. It was an incredible moment for us and the customers that were in the restaurant at the time.
Angie, you two did not open the restaurant long ago, and I know that Mario used to be a roofer, and he found that it was, taking a toll on his body, and so he turned to you, his best friend, to open this restaurant. Neither of you had experience in the restaurant industry, so how did it come to be? How did it get to this point where you've become so well known in the community that Jay-Z stops by?
Well, I think it's just a matter of having good food and a good vibe. People want to come where they're appreciated, where they have good food, and there's a good atmosphere for everybody to be around. So people enjoy hanging out and being with people who treat you like family.
This is so cool. Got to ask you, what was Jay-Z's review of the food? You said he ordered the short ribs and the pound cake. Mario, how'd it go over?
Well, actually, we didn't quite get a direct review from him, but I'm certain that if someone told him to get those short ribs, someone had to tell him. And that's definitely what he came in and requested. I'm definitely certain that we pleased him. Our short ribs are probably some of the best short ribs in the city. We do a good job with all our food. We kind of take pride in it. So it was a great thing for that to happen for us yesterday. Not just me and Angie, but it was for the whole staff, everybody that works there, everybody that knows us. Like, this is a moment for us to share, period, with everybody. So it was a great thing, and we really, really and truly appreciate it.
I want to see short ribs Jay-Z approved on the menu from now on. I want to see that little tagline.
Hey,
if people
it looks like we may need to do that.
I think you should. And if
We
people
may have to name something after him.
I like that idea. So if people want to come visit you too, where can they go?
Well, we're located on the corner of 47th and King Drive. The actual address is 4655 South King Drive. But we're right there on the corner. You can't miss us. We're on the northeast corner, and you'll see the purple writing on the windows. And look for a huge sign to be coming soon. But you can definitely find us right there. We're there every day, except for Monday, from noon to 8. And we're always doing our best to please everybody and serve good food.
Can't wait to try those short ribs. Mario and Angie, thanks so much for your time, and congrats on the special visitor.
Thank you.
47.
That's what I say about Jay-Z, and when Beyonce is in town and the Beehive, let everybody know, say, hey, while you're there, on the way to Soldier Field, man, Jay-Z, I know what you like. Stop over in Brownsville and get you something. And then you see that Beyonce's foundation donated $100,000 to small businesses. Okay, you can't say tell blacks to get back when we do for one another. And from what I heard, that concert was the bomb. Okay, I know this. If it snow in July and Beyonce And don't let Beyonce and Jay-Z come to town together and do a show. They're going to have their overcoats or their fur coats on, sitting down there in Soldier Field to get it like they want it, because they know how they expect it. Great show, great action. Jay-Z, you the man. Beyonce, you definitely the queen. Now, oh yeah, Gator is a whole hip hopper. They telling y'all this is a 50-year anniversary. You know, those of you that know Gator and what I do, we remember when, before Jay-Z hooked up with Kanye, when Kanye was selling the beats for $10,000 and had to go to New York and hooked up with them. The rest is history. We used to protect those that came to Chicago to do the concerts, from Snoop Dogg to Jay Prince. That's why you see Jay Prince and Larry Hoover. Oh, I got a lot of history, but this ain't what the show was about. We got another story. Let's hit that story about the floodings and all that. Or, no, the mayor. Okay, that's good. We'll start there.
Volunteers are packing bags of cleaning supplies and carrying cases of water to Austin residents still dealing with the aftermath of early July flooding.
How high did the water go?
To my waist. So this was the first time I ever seen it like that.
These supplies were donated by businessman Willie Wilson, Pastor Darius Brooks, and others as a temporary aid to cleaning efforts for residents who say they need more help.
Over and over and over again, the Austin community is being disrespected.
Roman Morrow had 3 feet of water in his basement.
And I have a 78-year-old mother. We no hot water. We're taking cold showers.
He's now working with volunteer groups and an attorney to get answers from the city.
If we don't stand up for our rights, there's nobody else that's going to do it.
Earlier, they met with concerned seniors who say they're living in mold and mildew.
People are very, very frustrated. They see other communities receiving aid, for instance, from the Red Cross, and they're getting very few answers.
The Red Cross is hosting a resource fair in Cicero on Saturday. And in a statement, a spokesperson tells NBC5 Austin residents impacted by the floods are encouraged to attend, going on to say, as always, those severely impacted by flooding in their living areas can call 800 Red Cross. Some Austin residents say, though, traveling to other communities isn't an option, particularly for seniors.
They've been living with this for 2 weeks now, and so it's really unacceptable.
Kate Chappell, NBC5 News.
In a statement this evening, the mayor's office says the city...
You know, the wonderful thing about what's happening is the fact that elected officials hear the plea of their constituency when their constituency support and stand by what is known as the court of public opinion. The young lady that was speaking, Miss Bowman, a great lawyer, she's an advocate for the people. She was also the advocate, attorney, when the Bear Oak incident happened. I know people are telling her to run for office, become a judge or whatever it is, but she's an advocate for the people. And if they decide that they want to run for a judge, I'm quite sure they will convince her to do so. And the young man, Roman, is an advocate for the people. And you're going to see what happened from when the people speak to the powers that be to inform them. Let's hit the next news clip.
Teams from Illinois Emergency Management and Illinois Homeland Security will go door to door today to verify and validate flood damage. They'll spend the afternoon visiting the hardest hit areas on the west side of Chicago and in the western suburbs. Heavy rain that came down June 29th through July 2nd caused severe basement flooding. The Austin neighborhood saw the most extensive damage.
Today is World IVF Day, marking the birth of the first baby ever born using in vitro fertilization in 1978.
Now, after Sunday's flash flooding, and it really isn't just
2 rounds of rain, 2 rounds of cleanup in less than 1 week.
It's been a mess, but that storm last night hit some of the same homes on Chicago's west side, where owners are still drying out after Sunday's flash flooding. And it really isn't just Chicago, it's the suburbs too.
CBS 2's Sarah Mackey's been talking to people cleaning up in Cicero in particular, and she joins us now. What are you hearing, Sarah?
Well, I heard from one resident something that really stuck out to me, and that was not again. I want you to take a look at the lengths that some people in Cicero are doing to clean up, pulling all sorts of possessions wet and damaged from their home. This is a situation that some residents say they know all too well. We also talked with some homeowners in the city in Austin, people who live just about 10 minutes away from here. They say that they are now cleaning up as well. One man, Roman Morrow, showed us the basement that again has standing water for the second time in less than a week. He says he is dealing with a couple of inches right now today. He also knows a neighbor across the street who we talked with who said that she is also dealing with the second round of flooding, though it is far less than what came in through on Sunday. Morrow says he's already spent hundreds to clean up and he is now forced to do it again.
And as you can see, the water, where the water was at, right here, it came all the way up to the couch. I mean, it's hard when you clean up and then this comes back to square one.
Morrow and some other residents we talked with say that they are now hoping for some kind of state or federal funding to help with their disaster here. But right now, some people say that the only thing they can do is rely on friends, family, neighbors for help. Some of those are the same people who are dealing with flooding themselves. Live in Cicero, Sarah Mackey, CBS 2 News.
That's why FEMA is in town today, and they're going from door to door in the affected areas where the most damage came to the residents, especially the senior citizens. A lot of their personal valuables, like old pictures and all that, and new pictures. You see where they was taking out the couches and everything else. You saw how the mold was just going up the wall. And with the temperature getting ready to be for the next 4 or 5 days, almost 100 degrees. That's a health issue. One of the things that's key is for my listening audience to understand that Congressman Danny Davis, United States Senators Duckworth and Durbin, along with the mayor of the city of Chicago, the county board commissioner for what's over in that area, on behalf of the county board, working together, along with aldermen in that area, especially on the west side, Alderman Emma Mitz, state reps and state senators, have come together collectively in order for Congressman Danny Davis to let the president know the seriousness and the urgency of FEMA to be here doing what they supposed to do to take the assessment so that people can get the resources that they need to help clean up after the flood. And thank God that the mayor heard them, because that's the thing that you got to do. in order to get it done. But it's time for me to close out. I just want to say, Mayor, Governor J.B. Pritzker, the Congressman, Danny Davis, the Alderman, Emma Mitz, and Marion Stamp, the Commissioner. Hooray, hooray, hooray. But let me end this show with this next piece about this iconic leader, majestic gent, that has left us. Could you hit that piece for me to close out? It's the homecoming of the iconic legend. Let's bring it down a little bit so they can see the picture of who he is. Come down, there you go. That's Brother Jerry Rooks. He's iconic stepper. I step. A lot of people step. We step, we walk. Okay? That's our culture as we dance. The funeral for Jerry Rooks is, the viewing is at A.R. Leaks, 7838 South Cottage Grove, on the 3rd of August from 6 to 8 p.m. The funeral will be at Fellowship Baptist Church, 4543 South Princeton Avenue, on August the 4th, from 9 to 11 a.m. The repast would be at Visions, 1901 South Loomis, from 1 to 5 p.m. Everybody that know Jerry, that love Jerry, show up. We appreciate you. And I want to let you know, not just because he's my cousin, but he's my first cousin. And with that, I want to say, to God be the glory. That's our story. Keep stepping, keep walking in the right direction.